In the city of Lagos, Nigeria, lived Lillian, a spirited young woman whose belief in love had once been unshakable. From a young age, she had been captivated by the idea of love, its warmth, its promises, and its endless possibilities. Growing up in a close-knit family that valued love above all else, Lillian dreamed of finding her own fairy tale romance. With a hopeful heart, believing that true love would find its way to her when the time was right, she dated, she fell in love, and she experienced the highs and lows that came with it. But each time, her heart was left shattered by betrayal or disappointment. After her last heartbreak, Lillian made a solemn vow to herself: no more dating. She closed off her heart, focusing on her career as a journalist and nurturing her friendships instead. But life had other plans. Years passed, and Lillian found herself working for a prominent magazine in Lagos. Her editor, a no-nonsense woman named Mrs. Yemi, had a knack for challenging her staff to step outside their comfort zones. One day, Mrs. Yemi announced a new assignment, a feature on modern romance and dating trends in Nigeria. To Lillian's dismay, this meant she would have to immerse herself in the world of dating once again, at least in a research capacity. Little did she know, this assignment would change everything. Lillian, on how to go about the task handed to her by her boss, enrolled in a class where people come to share their personal experience, challenges, and struggle. As the weeks went by, Lillian found herself drawn to the stories of resilience and hope shared by the other class members. Despite her initial resistance, she began to open up to Auntie Kemi and the group. She even started to share bits of her own journey, cautiously revealing her belief in love that had been overshadowed by heartache. One afternoon, Auntie Kemi announced a special project for the class. Each participant would write and present a personal essay on their concept of love. Lillian hesitated at first, unsure if she could put her feelings into words. However, spurred on by the encouragement of her classmates, she decided to take on the challenge. There was a charismatic writer named Chidi, who is her class member, immediately recognized Lillian's talent. He encouraged her to delve deep into her own experiences for inspiration, challenging her to confront her past hurts through storytelling. Reluctantly, Lillian began to write, pouring her conflicted emotions onto the page. Late one night, Lillian sat at her desk, pouring her heart into her essay. She reflected on her grandmother's stories, her own experiences, and the lessons she had learned about love and loss. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to acknowledge the pain of her past heartbreaks while also recognizing the beauty and hope that still lingered within her. As the weeks passed, Lillian found herself opening up in ways she hadn't anticipated. The class became a safe space where she could explore the intricacies of love without the risk of heartache. She discovered a newfound appreciation for romance not just in fiction, but in the world around her. Outside the workshop, Lillian's life began to change. She noticed small gestures of kindness between strangers, the warmth in her family's laughter, and the beauty of everyday moments. Slowly, her hardened heart began to thaw. But it wasn't until Chidi shared his own story of lost love that Lillian truly understood the power of forgiveness and healing. His vulnerability touched her deeply, reminding her that love wasn't just about fairy tales, it was about resilience, growth, and learning to embrace life's uncertainties. Inspired by Chidi's wisdom, Lillian poured her heart into her final assignment, a love story unlike any she had written before. It was a tale of second chances, of letting go of fear, and of embracing the possibility of love once more. The day of the presentations arrived, and Lillian nervously stood in front of the class. As she spoke, her voice trembled at first, but soon grew steady and strong. She shared her journey with vulnerability, weaving together the threads of her past with her newfound perspective on love. Her classmates listened intently, nodding in understanding and empathy. When Lillian finished, there was a moment of silence before the room erupted into applause. Auntie Kemi smiled warmly at her, her eyes twinkling with pride. Lillian felt a sense of peace wash over her, realizing that her heart, though scarred, was still capable of embracing love in all its forms. As the applause died down, Chidi approached Lillian with a warm smile. "You have a gift, Lillian," he said gently. "Don't ever let it go to waste." And so, in the heart of Lagos, amidst the vibrant rhythms of life, Lillian's story continued to unfold, a testament to the enduring power of love and the strength found in vulnerability. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Lillian found herself drawn to Chidi not just as a class member but as a confidant. Their conversations after class lingered on the edge of something unspoken, a connection that neither could deny but both hesitated to acknowledge. One rainy evening, as they discussed the nuances of character development over cups of steaming tea, Lillian found herself sharing fragments of her past loves and heartaches with Chidi. His understanding gaze and gentle encouragement stirred emotions she had long buried, awakening a longing she hadn't felt in years. This has been Chidi's aim for a while now, to stir up emotions she has so much held back. He knew once this happened, there was no going back for Lillian, and he could finally get hold of her heart. What Lillian didn't know was Chidi's true motives towards her. For all she knows or cared to know was the part of him who gave her listening ears and paid more attention to her. Every other thing didn't matter much to her. In the weeks that followed, Lillian and Chidi found themselves drawn together outside of class. They explored the city together, discovering hidden cafes, attending art exhibitions, and sharing their dreams under the starlit Lagos sky. Yet, amidst the blossoming romance, doubts lingered in Lillian's heart. Could this love be true? Could she trust her heart to love again? Is he really interested in my well-being and welfare and not wanting to take advantage of my weakness, she asked herself. Would history repeat itself, leaving her shattered once more? But each time she looked into Chidi's eyes, she saw a sincerity and depth that reassured her this love was different. One fateful evening, under the canopy of a jacaranda tree in full bloom, Chidi took Lillian's hand in his and confessed his love. His words were poetry, a declaration that resonated with the beating of her heart and the whispering breeze. "I have loved you since the moment you walked into Auntie Kemi's class," Chidi confessed, his voice soft yet resolute. "You've inspired me, Lillian. You've shown me that love is not just a story to be written but a journey to be shared." Tears glistened in Lillian's eyes as she reached out to touch Chidi's face, overwhelmed by the depth of emotion that flowed between them. In that moment, amidst the fragrance of jasmine and the distant hum of the city, Lillian knew that she had found her soulmate. Their love story unfolded like the pages of a cherished novel, filled with laughter, tears, and moments of quiet understanding. They navigated life's challenges together, supporting each other's dreams and celebrating their shared passions. Ignoring what seemed to be red flags because of how Chidi had treated her in these past few weeks, Lillian turned a blind eye to other important factors that mattered. She doesn't want to lose what seems like true love to her. Even when she is a decorated journalist, she seems to have left the skills outside her relationship. Even when her friends and family tried to talk sense into her by doing a proper background check about Chidi, it always resulted into an argument which made them stay clear of her relationship. 4 months later, as they stood hand in hand on their wedding day, surrounded by friends and family beneath a canopy of vibrant glee, Lillian reflected on the serendipitous journey that had led her to Chidi. Their love had blossomed from ink on paper to a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of trust, faith, and boundless devotion. And as they danced beneath the African sky, their hearts beating in harmony with the rhythm of the drums, Lillian knew that their love story was just beginning, a timeless tale of love's serendipity set against the backdrop of their beloved Lagos. And for Chidi, is motive and true intentions it about to confront Lillian, who for all she knows married an angel in human form. What do you think is Chidi's true intentions towards Lillian, and how do you think Lillian would handle whatever Chidi throws at her in marriage? Kindly subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.